Boy, do we have a good one for y'all today. American Idol, as we know, is in its 22nd season, and the singing competition has finally nailed down and selected its top 24 contestants who will be continuing on, moving into this weekend where we can see them face off with one another. But the highlight in getting to the top 24 was this heated exchange between Luke Bryan and a contestant by the name of Madai Chakell, where the two just went back and forth. And quite frankly, to witness this entitlement, this cringe incident involving the contestant, to do it and display it in front of your peers at the Hollywood solo rounds, and then to display it when you're given a second chance to make your performance happen the way that you would like it to happen in order to give you that fair opportunity to move forward, which the producers of the show and the judges were very receptive in doing. Just as it's crazy to think that someone would even come across this way, but it did. And Luke Bryan and this contestant, like I said, had a very heated exchange, and one that was totally unexpected, even leaving Lionel Richie in complete shock when it happened. Now, there is a lot to go through here because there was a lot that happened before we really got to the final blow, I guess you could say, from this contestant to Luke Bryan. But it seemed as though there was a bit of history between Luke and Madai Chakell ever since she first auditioned in this competition this year. So let's dive into this and see what exactly unfolded. And as we know, American Idol kicks off every season going town to town trying to find the talent that they believe will be the next American Idol. Madai Chakell was one of those contestants who received the golden ticket after her audition of singing I Kissed a Girl and I Liked It by Katy Perry. Now, Katy Perry and Lionel Richie said yes after her performance. However, but Luke Bryan stated, "I think you're still a year or two away really perfecting who you are as the individual artist." Now, Madai Chakell said she had previous experience. She talked about how she's worked on Broadway before. She also does voiceovers, different voices that she can do. So she has some artistic talent. Katy Perry, Lionel Richie saw that talent maybe inside of her during this first performance. But again, as I mentioned, Luke Bryan, it was a no from him, and he did not feel as though she was ready to move on to the next phase of the competition. Well, she did get the golden ticket. She did move on, like we have said. So this is what happened after she did get the ticket and moved on all the way into the Hollywood solo rounds. So we fast forward to the Hollywood solo rounds where Madai Chakell decides she's going to sing Tattooed Heart by Ariana Grande. When she first goes to sing Tattooed Heart, she is accompanied by a keyboardist who is on stage with her. However, about into the second line of the song, the keyboardist and Chakell are not really on the same note in the same key, and things are not flowing exactly how they plan in practice, according to her. She then stops, tells the keyboardist to stop. They then retry going back at the song together. However, again, the keyboardist and Chakell are not necessarily on the same note and on the same key. And it is mentioned that the flow of the song is not how it was practiced. So what does she do? She tells the keyboardist to stop, and she is going to do the song in a cappella version, which she does. Now, just to make a note here, in my opinion, I would imagine that American Idol probably hires some of the best musicians. You're talking studio musicians, things of that nature, to accompany on stage with these contestants to really give it the best atmosphere and true form of what it will be like performing with all the tools necessary, right? But getting back to it, after she completed the a cappella version, now this is her third go at it on her first attempt. At the end of the performance, Luke asks her, was she feeling okay? Was her voice 100%? And then stated, obviously, I don't know what went on in rehearsals, but a lot of stuff was going on up there. It was a little shaky in some spots, but thanks for performing for us. Now, after Luke made his comments while Madai Chakell was still on stage, she did not say anything during this time. She waited until she got behind the stage and did the camera interview in which these contestants usually do after performing in each of the phases of this competition. And during this interview that she did on camera is where she made her first kind of snide comments about Luke Bryan. Here's what happened. So the first glimpse of her character really shined in this interview where she calls out Luke Bryan specifically for even asking about her voice. And she adds, "Is your voice okay, Luke? I haven't heard you sing." But y'all, it gets even better and even more cringe. Now, producers for American Idol give her another shot to allow her to go back on stage and perform her rendition of Tattooed Heart by Ariana Grande in a cappella version again. And even the judges were very receptive in bringing her back on stage and allowing her to feel as comfortable as she could, as in all fairness, you want to give everyone a fair shot. That's not where it gets better. That's not where it gets cringe. It's what follows or even leads really up to her performing the song. It's so much that went down. And again, the character really shined through for this contestant. Here's what happened on the second go round. Luke Bryan, as I mentioned, was very receptive to her coming back on stage. He said, "It's great to have you back, and we understand all of the dynamics of it now, and we're glad that you get another opportunity. And like I said, in this moment, in your moment, we want you in the most comfortable situation possible." A very nice message from Luke to welcome her back again as she gets this second opportunity. But even really before he could get the last couple of words out in his message, she cuts him off and says, "Okay, so with that being said, can I have a chair perhaps? Because I'm getting a little shaky." Now, y'all, the music business is cutthroat. You have to be on your P's and Q's at all time, your I's dotted, your T's crossed, and you have to be prepared for any situation at any time, especially if you're wanting to be American Idol, superstar status, as many as we have seen come from this show and immediately be thrown to the fire into festivals, into record label deals, into an album, which means you're going to promote it, and you're going to probably get your mini little headlining tour following it. There's so much opportunity that comes immediately following this, and if you want this, I don't really understand how you can say or cut off a judge who's trying to be nice and getting you to get comfortable back on stage, but to cut him off as he's finishing, ask for a chair, and that you're shaking. Sometimes you have to just overcome emotions and do what it is that you have to do to get through the performance or artistry that you're trying to give to fans. Now, this is where things kind of just go off the rails. There's a lyric at the end of Tattooed Heart that this contestant sang. And when they sang this, Madai Chakell sang Heart, she deliberately sang it in such a peculiar way that it led Luke Bryan to ask, why did she sing the lyric Heart in that way? After he asked that, Chakell then began speaking with an English accent, addressing what Luke Bryan had told her in the past during her first audition when she sang I Kissed a Girl, how he was not going to give her the pass to get the golden ticket from his decision, and that he felt she had a couple more years to truly find herself. So she starts doing an English accent addressing what he has said in the past. It almost felt like she was subtly trying to compare him to Simon Cowell, almost like saying he was rude in providing any sort of feedback and constructive criticism. And as this took place, Lionel Richie is just in complete shock that she's even portraying herself in this manner and that she's doing this bit, I guess you could call it, at getting back at Luke Bryan for maybe previous comments or things he has said throughout this competition. But in the end, as she's walking off, Luke Bryan gets his chance to make his remarks, fire back, because it just really seemed as if she had no humility on that stage, no humbleness at all. I understand having confidence, but there is a fine line of confidence and cocky and coming across way too strong. And sometimes you have to find that humility and humbleness to get through life. It just is what it is. And you honestly should always remember that everybody puts their pants on the same way that everybody else does. And no one out here is better than anyone else. But finally, Luke Bryan dips himself down into the mic and he said, maybe we'll do American Humble at some point. Probably not winning the audience with that one. And well, here we are, folks. A little bit of the humble pie, I guess, was eaten because the top 24 does not consist of Madai Chakell. I mean, her singing was not bad, not that bad. I think with a lot of improvement, there is something to be said there about her. She is very talented, but it's understandable that not everyone is going to be immediately ready for American Idol. Never ceases to amaze me, folks, but that's your latest update here on Country Cast. Be sure to hit that subscribe button down below so you never miss out on any breaking news and updates.